How did we go from messy relationships and cheating scandals to straight-up mugshots? Was it Yandy's fault? Or did someone finally grow wary of Kirk's constant antics? This reality TV drama just turned into a full-fledged crime scene, with Kirk Frost and Mendeecees in handcuffs. Oh, this isn't the staged reunion fight. This is real-life jail time drama. Witnesses claimed that security was powerless to stop the chaos, which included furniture flying, fists being thrown, and now Kirk and Mendeecees are in serious legal trouble. Did Yandy save Em? Is Rashida sticking by Kirk's side forever? Where was young Jock during all of this? Oh, don't even trip. We have all the details and the leaked footage, so sit back, hit the like button, and let's get started. Even though Kirk Frost and Mendeecees are well known enough to carry an entire season of love and hip-hop, they may have never been involved in anything this crazy. Are you telling me that these two grown men, fathers, and businessmen were just arrested for a brawl that took place right outside of a WWE ring? You know that young Jock and Yandy Kendra were nearby, stirring things up as if it were. Let's not pretend that the instigators weren't in full force before we even get into the specifics of this crazy takedown. Let's face it, drama is nothing new to men. Mendeecees and Kirk have always been involved in scandals, whether they involve financial fraud, cheating, or just plain mess. But this time it's more than just rumors, and the streets are aflutter, the internet is in flames, and even the police had to intervene. What specifically transpired that resulted in them being handcuffed, booked, and charged with some serious offenses? I assure you, this is reality TV, gone wild, so you better grab some popcorn. It all began at a posh nightclub in Atlanta, of course, where Kirk Frost, who had spent 10 years demonstrating that he was the king of messy behavior, was seen becoming overly at ease with a woman who is most definitely not. Rashida. You would think that after all these years of public humiliation, he would learn his lesson, but instead he was out here wiping, laughing, drinking, and whispering sweet nothings as if his entire marriage wasn't on the line. Meanwhile, across the club was already tense because he and Yandy had been fighting all day over something that happened on the Love and Hip Hop set, and it seems that Yandy was still upset about the entire phony wedding. Stunned from years ago, you recall how Mendeecees gave Yandy the impression that they were legally married, only for her to discover that the paperwork had never been filed. Well, she hasn't forgotten, and based on the way things were going, she had an plan to make him forget as well. So here I am sitting in VIP, already annoyed, when he spots Kirk across the room. It's not just that Kirk is cuddling with another woman, and normally I wouldn't mind, but the last thing he needed was for Yandy to discover that he had seen Kirk creeping and remain silent, especially since Yandy and Rashida are close. What does Mendeecees do? He chooses to confront Kirk immediately because, according to witnesses, he rushed straight over to Kirk's section and began going off without any warning or buildup, just straight smoke in Kirk. Oh. He attempted to brush it off as he always does, but Mendeecees wasn't having it and began screaming that Kirk was embarrassing his family once more, that Rashida didn't deserve this, and that he should be ashamed of himself. Instead of putting an end to it, Kirk snapped back, saying, "Man, worry about your age before coming at me." Oh, that was the incorrect thing to say because if there's one thing about Mendeecees that he dislikes, it's being reminded of his own filth, and Kirk, yes, he touched that nerve. Security then attempted to intervene as Mendeecees was eating lunch at Kirk and drinks were flying high, but it was too late, and before anyone could guess who was in the midst of the chaos, young Jock, yes, young JC was attempting to break things up. Why was Jock there then? M's focus suddenly shifted to the Jock, and the club was in complete chaos, with tables flipping, people screaming, and security trying to contain the mess. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any crazier, Kendra appeared. The mystery we may never solve, but one thing is for certain, He did not make things better. Instead of calming things down, he started running his mouth. "You guys need to chill. Kirk's been wiping out for years. Sis should have been at home taking care of her business, but instead she walked straight into the fire, and when she saw Kirk with that woman, she was in complete shock because, in addition to seeing her husband fighting, she recognized the woman Kirk was seeing, and the drama quickly escalated from a 10 to a 100. Kendra snapped, yelling and pointing fingers, creating a scene that the nightclub went from chaotic to downright dangerous as red and blue lights filled the room, and security was worn out from trying and failing to stop the madness. People were scurrying, phones were recording, and Kirk, Frost, and Ems ended up in handcuffs, looking like two idiots who couldn't control their hands or their egos, because police arrived before security could even get a handle on the situation. They were in serious trouble because, let's be clear, the Atlanta Police Department was not there to play. They took one look at the scene, saw tables flipped, drinks spilled, and people screaming, and immediately began making arrests. Guess who they went for first? Kirk, Frost, and Em were still furious and still talking trash, but now they were in serious trouble. After years of dealing with legal drama, the last thing he needed was to be placed in handcuffs once more after eventually escaping and remaining on parole. However, witnesses claimed that Kirk still believed he could talk his way out of it. Kirk was attempting to appear calm, telling the officers, "Come on, man, this isn't anything, just a small miscommunication." But the police weren't buying it, especially since several people had already told them. Young Jock, who had somehow escaped handcuffs, was standing in the corner running his mouth, saying, "Dude, this is crazy. You guys really locked them up over some little club drama. You literally made it worse, sir. Maybe you should sit this one out." They then claimed that Kirk and Mies were the ones who started the entire altercation. Remember Kendra, my love? She was determined to make this night even more chaotic. As the police dealt with Kirk and Mies, Kendra continued to talk about the woman Kirk had been playing with, and then she attempted to hit on her. Yes, you read correctly, Kendra, who should have been the elegantly put-together lawyer, totally lost her professionalism and went all love. And before she could land a hit, security had to grab her in hip-hop mode. When the police were finished, one of the officers yelled, "That's it, she's coming with us too." Kendra was then thrown in the back of the squad car, right next to her husband. Meanwhile, Yandy had been looking on like she was at a movie premiere, but she allowed the messes to be locked up without making a scene. As soon as they began cuffing, Mindy ran up and yelled, "Oh hell and oh, you guys aren't taking my husband for this __." But the police weren't in the mood, ma'am. One of them warned, "If you don't back up, you're coming too," and turned to face her. Yandy quickly changed course and said whatever you wanted about her, but she knows when to pick her battles. So now Kirk, Mies, and Kendra are all locked up. When those mug shots were released, the internet went completely crazy. People were making fun of Kirk for being caught cheating again, making fun of Messifor being Atlanta's most unconcerned husband who became a street preacher, and dragging Kendra for filth. One of the most popular tweets read, "Kendra out here fighting side chicks while her man is sitting in jail," smiling as though it were a family reunion photo. Someone else informed Kirk that Rashida wasn't saving him this time. Speaking of Rashida, what part did she play in all of this? According to sources, she was at home going about her usual business when she received the call regarding Kirk's arrest. But when she heard it, she snapped. Insiders claim that Rashida had finished saying things like, "Pack your bags, we're getting a divorce done." And let's be honest, Kirk has. Finally, after years of playing in this woman's face, enough is enough. But Kirk thought he could make it right because it seemed like this man was calling Rashida from jail with the same old excuses he's been using for the past 10 years. Guess what Rashida did? According to sources, she didn't even let him finish his sentence. Instead, she simply clicked and continued with her day, which was genuinely good. Kirk, Mies, and Kendra are sitting behind bars waiting to learn what charges they are actually facing, and baby, it was long disorderly conduct, public intoxication, disturbing the peace, resisting arrest, and Kendra. Oh, she was hit with an additional charge of attempted assault. This is for her because if Kirk hasn't learned by now, he never will. But let's get back to the jail situation. Rushing to determine who was posting bail first, and let's just say that not everyone was feeling giving. Yundi refused to release Mies immediately, and yes, you heard correctly, she was furious and wanted him to sit in there for a short while to reflect on his behavior. As for Kirk, he was expecting Rashida to show up, but after that phone call, he needed to start reevaluating his entire life and Kendra. Sources claim that young Jock was working behind the scenes to get her out because, let's face it, if Kendra had to spend even one night in jail, he would be looking at divorce papers by morning baby. Meanwhile, the internet continued to consume every moment of this drama, with fans comparing their mugshots side by side and even some celebrities joining in on the mess. The judge wasn't going to let them off easy because this wasn't just some random drama. There were witnesses, there was video footage, and this all happened at an elite club. The judge's reaction to the embarrassing remarks 50 Cent made on Instagram was to say that Man Love and Hip Hop got more rests than the Super Bowl. Admittedly, he wasn't lying. I could sense the shift in energy as soon as the courtroom video started playing. Oh, so this is what we are dealing with, the judge said, leaning back, arms folded, and shaking their head. The video captured everything, including Kirk losing it, Ems flinging hands, Kendra fighting, exhausted security, and the police intervening as if they were interrupting a WrestleMania match. DC said, "You got me screwed, man. Watch yourself," shouted Kirk. "I know you did not just disrespect me like that." To which Kendra replied, "Oh baby, this was way past just some little bar altercation. This was concrete proof." The judge was unimpressed, and as soon as the video ended, they looked over their glasses and said, "Let me get this straight. You three grown adults thought bringing. You should know better, Mr. Harris," the judge said, staring him down. "You already have legal issues. You've been trying to keep clean, and now you're back in my courtroom for what? A nightclub brawl trying to keep his cool?" Kendra, Kirk, and Mendeecees sat there like three kids caught stealing candy, and the judge began breaking it down. "Started, Your Honor. It wasn't like that. I was just thinking." "Oh no, it was exactly like that because I just saw the footage." "Oh, it was bad," the judge said, cutting him off. Then it was Kirk's turn, and the judge was ready, baby. "I almost feel embarrassed for you, Mr. Frost. You're a middle-aged man out here acting like a reckless teenager, causing scenes in clubs. Did you forget that you are the reason this whole thing started? Stay faithful. You are a court officer, Mrs. Robinson. Your job is to enforce the law, not violate it. I just witnessed you attempt to physically assault someone." Kirk had nothing to say. He just sat there looking like he wanted to vanish. Then let's not forget, Kendra is an attorney. She is supposed to be the responsible party and is aware of the law. When the judge reached her, she was feeling it. After examining the evidence, the judge handed down the sentence, saying, "Mr. Frost, you will pay $10,000 in fines and undergo mandatory anger management and infidelity counseling." Do you have any idea how unprofessional and downright ridiculous that looks? Another woman, Kendra, knew she had messed up, and now she was fighting back tears. Exploded, the judge then turned to Mr. Harris, saying, "Given your record, I'm sending you to 30 days in county jail. Perhaps some time away from the nightlife will help you rethink your decisions." Finally, Kendra, Mrs. Robinson, an attorney, said, "Your actions tonight were completely unacceptable. You will be fined $5,000, placed on professional probation, and required to complete a..." The WRA session was heated, and you could see him muttering, "This is some bull," before Yandy pushed him and whispered, "Shut up before they add more time, Kirk." He looked sick, and his only thought was, how am I going to explain this to Rashida and Kendra, baby? She was 2 seconds away from having a complete meltdown. But let me tell you, while Kirk was sitting in that courtroom looking stupid, Rashida was already moving because she was posting cryptic Instagram messages like, "A queen knows when to walk away. There's no negotiating respect. Some people will never change, and oh yeah, she was done. The fans were consuming this, and they were critiquing Kirk on Twitter, saying things like, "Bro, you jumped from I am the man of the house to I am in court for." While Yandy was doing her best to minimize the harm, she was out here saying things like, "As a family, we are dealing with everything in private, and we are looking into the mistake that M's made." However, the shade of Yandy's statement in an iconic meme was added to a picture of Rashida leaving with the words "boy bye." Jock, who had been babbling all night, was still acting awkwardly out here on Instagram Live, rambling. "I'm just saying that you see what happens when people don't know how to behave. I tried to warn them, so please, Jock, you started this. I also think that some men forget they are too old for this kind of drama." The shade "oops, you already know ends" was the target of that one. Imagine receiving a legal degree only to be put on the Noir list because you wanted to fight over Kirk Frost. One commenter wrote a tragic but hilarious response using the mug. Her law firm was not happy, darling, legally meaning that yes, she is on thin ice. The firm reportedly issued a statement that basically said we do not condone unprofessional behavior, and it was a huge hit with the crowd. Images of Kirk and me 50 Cent. Yes, 50 Cent once more posted a meme with the caption, "Love and Hip Hop Locked Up Edition coming up next on VH1." And now he may not be mistaken. What happens next is that Kirk is trying desperately to keep his marriage intact while Mies is counting down the days until his release. Kendra is fervently hoping that her legal career continues, and Rashida, oh baby, is out. I can already see it, and the fans. Oh, we'll be watching everything first, second, and third. What do you think? Is this the last straw between Kirk and Rashida? Will Kendra lose her job soon? Will Mies really spend 30 days in jail for a club brawl? This tea is still boiling, baby. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Let's discuss it in the comments section. There you have it, people. Rashida is out here regaining her peace. Like a true queen, Kendra is standing up for her career, Kirk is being humiliated, and Mies is in jail. This whole situation went from a bar fight to a full-fledged legal catastrophe, but the real question is who is at fault in this case? Did Kirk simply get what he deserved? Should Mies have simply left rather than flinging his hands? And did Kendra risk her entire career for a man who consistently embarrasses her? There's no denying that love and hip-hop never let you down when it comes to drama, but this may be the most outrageous scandal to date, and you know that there will be more fallout, breakups, lawsuits, and possibly even an emergency VH1 cast meeting. Tell me which side you're on, whether Rashida is truly done with Kirk this time, whether Kendra's career is officially over, and whether you believe the judge was too harsh or should have done more. This narrative is far from over, so stay tuned. 30-day sentence. I need to know what you guys think, so please leave your opinions in the comments. This tea is still hot, and you know I have more exclusives coming, so while you're at it, press the notification bell, like this video, and subscribe to the channel.